Good morning. We're keeping up about this problem with everybody being in jail, and we'll just go on bouncing around things. To understand the next issue, you want to look up our prohibition, alcohol prohibition, and see what happened in it. We had a lot of stuff that would justify it. Had I been a physician at that time and seeing what happened from it medically, if I had worked for acute people who were injured, I would really have wanted that. I really would have wanted that. And the same way that when I saw a lot of patients in my office, I didn't even keep the special script allowing you to prescribe pain medicine. I simply didn't want to have anything to do with it. I thought anything possible we could do to stop narcotics coming in, to being used, I'm not going to contribute to it. I will not write my script. It was great for me. I never got bothered by drug addicts. I really felt very self-righteous, and it was great. And I told people, just take a good amount of Tylenol and just relax and put on cool compresses, and that's it. And it was great. I simply had nothing to do with it. And outside, lots of stuff was going on. But going back to the prohibition, before that, this was started by the Women's Christian Temperance Unit. And it's very straightforward. The guys would work long hours. They would have aches, pains, maybe old fractures. And they would just go down to the local bar and drink themselves silly. And alcohol releases an anger. What you suppressed before simply comes out. And it actually is the biggest drug source of violence that we have. And still, if you have years where alcohol consumption goes down, violence goes down, crime goes down. It's the biggest drug problem that we have outside of cigarettes. So during that time, where the man came home, beat up the woman got very upset, often went back to her women's medicine, which had some type of morphine in it. But there was a campaign to have prohibition. It was partly in certain states, but finally it was passed nationwide. It did not work out well. Consumption of alcohol went up. The incidence of cirrhosis of the liver, that's a situation where the liver gets damaged and it doesn't pass fluid through it. You get this gigantic belly. And in 1950, that would be about 1950, when I was in medical school, they had special wards we would walk in, and there would be all these men sitting out there looking like sumo wrestlers with their gigantic abdomens. And we take needles and we just put it in the abdomen and we just get a fountain of fluid. And there were a lot of these, and these were the people who were the children of prohibition. They weren't there at the time, but the culture had changed so much to heavy alcohol and heavy drinking that this was like an epidemic. We don't see as much of that anymore, but it was a disaster. And something else happened. Crime, all the bad crimes, all the ones that we make movies about, just flourished. It was something that was a source of money, a big source of money. And if you can pay your hoodlums, yeah, they'll come and join you. And you have an interesting way of life, and you party well, and that was help. And the consumption shifted from wine and beer to hard alcohol. Because if you're transporting contraband around, you might as well transport concentrated contraband. That's why right now something like fentanyl, which acts like an opioid, is very concentrated, very easy to transfer around. So right now we've been in another prohibition, and like the first, it's been an absolute disaster. The use of drugs and all kinds of crazy drugs has skyrocketed. Crime has skyrocketed. A drug culture has absolutely enveloped everything. And we're seeing our children, we're seeing our society absolutely wrecked by it. And what we are doing is making it worse. Yeah, I know, I understand how we hate the drug dealers, but going out and criminalizing it of every kind, whether it's marijuana, whether it's cocaine, whatever, makes it worse. Makes it worse. And if you look at other countries in the world, there is no evidence anywhere that these campaigns do anything but make us feel better, make us feel we've done something. Oh my God, we have really done something. We've caught the bad guys. We've forced them into hiding. Of course, we do have access to everybody because if you're not in a gated community, somehow or other, we know where you are and what's going on. Anyway, the most disastrous periods of time have been in post-war situations. When they say, beat your swords into plowshares and follow war, no war, it applies to everything. It applies to everything. We cannot win these kinds of wars, and we only make the enemy stronger and destroy ourselves. We'll see you next time.